Hey everybody, I thought I'd do a little video about my tops collection. It is growing and I need to do something about it. So I figured I'd take inventory and maybe in doing this I would discover that I really don't like some of these and I'd want to get rid of them. So I'll start with this one. This was a recent purchase. It was an impulse buy on Amazon. It was on sale for 40 bucks and I thought a tops knife with a full grain leather sweet pocket slip for 40 bucks, I had to get it. It was a moral imperative, and so I did. And here it is, the FDX 66. It's well, it's 1095 steel. It's very thin. It's got a very broad blade, so it's quite thin behind the edge. And it's a great utility knife. Great little utility knife. You could also use it in a self-defense situation if need be. But let's see this. Yeah, but just a great little knife. Now, the handle being so thin was a little bit hard to hold on to, so I put this cordage on here and a little fob so I could just kind of grab it. And it can ride in your pocket in this really, really nice leather slip, or it can be vertical or horizontal on your belt. And actually, I mount it horizontally on my belt up front, right near my belt buckle, sometimes, not all the time. But it rides really nicely. It doesn't really print at all, and it's very subtle and discreet, and very handy. So that's the FDX 66. Let's see. Here's the one that I use the most. It's the Tex Creek. 1095 steel. You've got G10 handles, I think. You got red liners and nicely contoured handles and just a killer blade, man. This thing is awesome. It's my go-to outdoor fixed blade when I'm working around the backyard and pulling up vines and doing that kind of stuff. And it's received a lot of wear. It originally had the I can't remember the finish this had actually, but it's done a great job. It gets very sharp, and that 1095 steel can hold its own. I got this originally as something I thought I might want to carry, like EDC, and have kind of stashed on my person. But so I made this nice kydex sheath for it. But as it ends up, the handle of this is too long for me to comfortably tote around in the small of my back. So I never really carried it much like that. Carry it. My preferred carry when I'm outside is the pouch, leather pouch sheath it came with. I don't want the little one over on the end, you know. Let's see, next. Got this Tanto Interceptor. This is the big brother to the C.U.T knife. C.U.T, I can't remember what the C stands for, but the AT is anti-terrorism. So it's like an anti-terrorist knife you have on your person for when you're hunting terrorists. You're on that airplane, and you're trying to take out the bad guy. You have one of these on you, apparently. Anyway, I really liked it. This was part of my search for a good concealed carry fixed blade. This one, with the short handle and the short rounded handle, really fit the bill in many ways. However, it's heavy because the handle is so darn thick. But I made a concealed carry kydex sheath for this as well. I don't have it here with me, but it came in this great sheath with this metal clip. All right. Next we have the C.U.T 4.0. This came out, I think, in 2017. This is a great 4-inch saber ground, but almost fully flat ground drop point blade. Kind of a very neutral, useful blade shape. Beautiful jimping on the back. Nice micarta handles with red liners. And then you've got this karambit ring. So the gentleman, what's his name, Swanigan? I don't know his first name, who designed this, is a martial artist and an outdoorsman, and you can see both influences in this blade design. Great woodland knife, great for martial arts applications, and you know, as would this be. So, pretty cool. This one carries very nicely. I find that fixed blades that have shorter and rounded handles really are nice in the small of the back, and I can sit back in the car and barely feel it or not feel it at all, and it's not like a hassle to carry. All right, next we have the MSK 2.5. This is a great little Scandi neck knife. Fits great in the hand, kind of a 3-finger grip, plus you put a little fob on there, and then you've got pretty much a full grip. It's very secure. It's fun to carve with, fun to whittle with. It's very, very sharp. And yeah, they always Tops Knives puts a little tiny micro secondary bevel on their Scandis just to increase the strength. And yeah, I don't know if I've polished that away or not, but great knife. Next, one of my absolute favorites of the little ones, the Felony Stop. What a great name, Felony Stop. What's that knife all about? So you've got a double-edged dagger on a short, rounded handle. This is a great one to conceal carry. You've got this awesome swale there with this power jimping. Your thumb really locks in there. Your hand really locks into this knife. Almost in a similar fashion to how your hand locks into a push dagger. It just feels like this thing is never ever coming out of your hand, just the way it nestles in there. And it also presents the blade more like a pistol, it's sort of a pistol grip. But a cool thing about this knife is in reverse grip, you have this swale here with all the power jimping is great for trapping. Let's see, trapping applications. A lot of different knife fighting arts have you trapping people's hands and arms like this, and that acts as a great little surface to grab and pull. It's like teeth. All right, next, the Ranger's Edge dagger. This was a knife I was after for a long time and then finally bought. This has a great thick handle, much like the Interceptor, but on this, I don't know, it feels more comfortable. I kind of want that thick handle. I'm not going to be putting my thumb up here, which makes me feel, gives me a sense of surety. So maybe having that thick grip gives me a real good sense of surety. When you're like this, in reverse grip, these scales are so thick, you can rest your thumb there and grab the top of the handle like that without having to worry about this pry bar, which would actually also make a nice, I don't know, pain compliance device. And here you have a very, very nicely ground 1095 double-edged blade. And you have these little serrations here. Made in the USA. Really nice knife. Very nice dagger. Well, I'm going to shift it down here. I'm going to do this. And now, the two last ones. This was a gift from my lovely wife. This is called the Wild Pig Hunter. And if I'm not mistaken, it's based on a Russian design, a Russian military knife. Has that blade and that guard and roughly that handle shape. This thing is a very stout cross-sectionally and is designed for thrusting and penetrating, tough hide on a wild pig, on a boar. Some people actually do hunt with knives, hunt pigs with knives. It's quite courageous in my estimation to run up on a boar, or have your dogs even pin down a boar and to go up to it and stab it dead. Like, that's not nothing. That seems like a hell of a sport and a hell of a way to get your bacon. But if I were to do that, I would use this. I fantasize, and I've told my wife about this and she kind of laughs, but someday I'm going to go spear hunting for boar, just like Odysseus, and if I come back with a scar on my leg like he did, all the better. But of course, I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I guess you don't go from never hunting anything to spear hunting boars. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up. And lastly, probably my favorite of all the Tops knives, the Prather War Bowie. I made this sheath for it, and it comes with a nylon sheath that's pretty cheesy, and that's the only downside to this knife. Everything else is amazing. You can look at that giant, beautiful, broad clip point 1095 blade, man. I love that long clip. The only thing that would make this knife better was if this long clip were sharpened. That would make it even better. But this amazing Rocky Mountain tread, micarta handle, both the shape and the texturing, when you have this in hand, it's so secure and locked in. Your fingers kind of fall into these channels here. You get the tension between your thumb and your fingers here, and you got this nice guard, and you got a widening handle, and it's just incredibly secure. This thing is an outstanding knife. I haven't used it that much. I've toted it around quite a bit. As a matter of fact, it conceals pretty well, but I've never used it. And I don't go out into public with this except when I'm like in a park and it's something I have stashed away. But this knife, if you like the design of it, it's definitely worth your shekels. This thing is an amazing piece. I just love it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased due to my taste. Anyway, there you have it. This is my Tops knife collection, and I'm sure it will grow. And as it does, I will keep you updated on the family tree. Until then, don't take dull for an answer.